I'm going to do a series of talks actually for the new group, and dealing with managing a startup. And you know, this is like paving a new frontier, and there's really nothing written on it. There's a lot of opinion on it, and ultimately, if you're running a startup, you have to make the choices on how you're going to do it. Now, there are a couple things you can do. You can basically say award people, I think, on a share base. So, you know, you will earn this amount of shares for accomplishing these milestones. And I think that in a way that's weak, because if you're having people come on to work for you for free, in essence, they should earn ownership in the company, not just equity in the company, but ownership. So what I've developed, especially for my startup, Wikitube, which is a part of the eduateu.com startup, is what I'm doing is actually giving away very small percentages in the company that will be used as whatever, let's say if we put out 10 million shares, you're going to get that percentage of those shares because you own that. And if and that is everyone in there. So instead of saying you're getting this amount of shares, you're getting. So if we release, 1 million, whatever you get those percentages, we release 10 million, so whatever. So the idea is that really as you work and you achieve milestones and other things, or you're earning equity. So, and I will go and I'll show you some of the charts. I don't mind sharing the charts that I have, but I'll take off the names. But in essence, we're all the same. So just because I came up with the idea doesn't mean that I own the other, whatever percentage. Not at all. What it means is I also earn as part of the team by, identifying team members and everything else and awarding myself equity. So I'm doing it as kind of probably ideally if it was more organized, I'd have someone awarding me, but since they don't know how much work I'm doing, I'm kind of awarding myself. So in a way it's a little unfair, but I'm the guy pulling it together. So there needs to be someone managing it and overseeing it, and I'm sure there could be a better way than the way I'm doing it. Now, so what I'm giving out is actually ownership in the company. It's not really equity. Like, is equity ownership? I guess in a way. So the difference is there's only two levels in how I perceive it. There's no titles. There's development and there's business. So you're either going to play a role in development or you're going to play a role in business. That's it. We don't have any titles. There's no lead developer. There's no in charge of business, blah, 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 blah. It's all just us. Now, with that said, what I'm looking for is people to excel. So, for example, at the next meeting, you've got meetings, and what I do at the next, we had our kickoff meeting, and we've had a development meeting. We're going to have our third meeting in February, and at the next meeting, you basically say, okay, I'm going to vote to make these allocations, final, and and there's any opposition or any thought or any discussion, you voice it now. Do I have approval? And everyone votes. Yes, I have approval. No, I don't have approval. I think I should blah, 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 whatever. We're having a little debate about it. So once that is approved, it's done. And now that those shares are locked in, and those are those individuals. And then the next month, it repeats. So I am basically saying, I think this is what you're worth. So, for example, we're working on our alpha, and to date, less than 1% of the company has been allocated to the developers. These are very, very minuscule. 0.025%, on up to 0.1%. 0.1% is considered kind of a major. I consider that as a pretty major contribution. 0.1% ownership. Now, it may not sound a lot to you, but I tell you what. If anyone here, if I said to you, I'm going to give you 0.1% of Google or Microsoft, you would be one very rich person. Now, there's nothing to say that, or even Facebook, nothing to say that we're going to do that, but still, you got to put in perspectives. I'm looking for us to become a Google or Facebook or something, and to that degree, to that 9th, 10th degree or whatever. So, so to me, that's a huge amount. The other thing that I tell folks too is that people say, well, I want a bigger share. Well, fuck off, because ultimately the other thing that we have to do is I've only as a meeting we have said we will allocate up to 10% of the company using this viral method. Only 10%. 10% is huge. I think it should be down as 5%. But 10% will be allocated to would be shared within the owners. Now, obviously, we need money coming in and everything else from at some point. So, if you tie up the equity in the company around a bunch of people, then you're basically going to be in a position begging them for it back, because some investor is going to say, "Hey, I want this amount, and you got too much." The other thing is we have a clause in there that basically, as directors in the company, as directors are really owners. They're the ones that their vote really counts in regards to share allocation. So I'm the only director this time. At the next meeting, I'm going to appoint 2 folks. So it's going to be 3 directors as of February. So those 3 people will have a vote in the direction everything we're doing, and they're the 3 that have actually worked and have come forward and done stuff. So ultimately, if there's a vote, they're gonna participate in that vote and say what they think. So I don't know if if I've confused everyone or not, but it's really simple. You've got directors. You have directors who are the vote folks. You nominate them, bring on board based on what they do, if they've earned it, and if they don't, their team, and ultimately, if they don't produce, you just you move them off and you go from there. So that's pretty much it. I think that's it. And don't watch out, you friggin'